Censorship on YouTube. You know, the problem with YouTube was started by three guys who were kind of like computer geeks, and then they sold it to Google. And Google's main objective is to become the baron of the internet. And they bought up YouTube, and now Google is basically censoring the living crap out of YouTube to make it more commercial, more profitable. Because the three guys that were running YouTube in the first place, you know, they wanted to have a community where everybody could have a voice and stuff. And the little guy who was basically edged out by the corporate news media and stuff would have a voice. They could have their video and they could, you know, vlog and stuff and say whatever they want. But now here comes fucking they sold it to oh, you're not supposed to say fuck on Google or YouTube anymore. Excuse me. But you know, the three guys, they sold YouTube to the demons of the internet, Google, and now Google basically wants to sanitize it, make it all politically correct, make a safe place for advertising, because advertisers don't want to advertise to, you know, controversial people, atheists, gays, you know, radicals of the right, the left, the center, Muslims, you know, people who use nasty words, or anybody who would maybe offend a consumer, because, you know, it's all about buying that crap. I mean, buying that soap and stuff. And so now YouTube is owned by Google. And Google basically wants to make profits, so everything that could possibly promote a video that is detrimental to their profits, Google is going to censor. So now they're demoting any videos that are not politically correct, or have nasty words in them, or talk about atheism, or maybe they're too Christian, or maybe they're too atheistic, or maybe they're too pagan, or maybe they're too far to the right, or maybe they're too far to the left, or maybe they're just too good looking, or too ugly, or maybe who knows what the hell they're too, because something will affect Google's profits. You know, that's their big fears. So they took away our bulletins, because that promotes, you know, the small channels. The small channels have nothing to promote them with those bulletins, because, you know, Google's not going to promote, or YouTube's, you know, what's the difference between Google and YouTube? It's the same goddamn thing now. So YouTube, you know, they're not going to promote them anymore, and actually they demote them. Demote them means they take away the, you know, that used to be when the three guys had it, whenever, how many people look at your video, you know, they'll go up in rank. You know, it'll register. You know, if 100 people look, it'll say 100. But now the Google's got it. If you got 100 people, they'll demote you and say you only got one. So instead of you know, having your a controversial, according to their accountants, it'd be controversial. A controversial video that would get 100,000 hits on it. You know, you could only be 50. For the longest time, the greatest attack on free speech in YouTube was a flagging system. You know, this flagging system supposedly was supposed to be used for people who broke the terms of agreement. But the terms of agreement are so vague that anybody can interpret them any way they want to, because they basically, I don't know if you've ever read them, they don't really say a whole lot. And what they do is every time some nervous Nelly comes across a video or even an individual they don't like, they'll just flag the hell out of the videos, and they'll organize their little buddies, their little clans or whatever, and they'll attack, you know, the little bully groups, and they'll attack these videos until they get them taken off of YouTube. And, you know, the rule is, 3 strikes and you're out. You know, 3 videos are removed and your channel gets booted, suspended, and stuff like that. And I mean, most of the people that have been suspended, probably about 80 or 90% of the people, actually did absolutely nothing wrong except express opinions that the cattle herd didn't like. You know, just because the cattle didn't like them, they got suspended. It's quite like a lynch mob. You know, the lynch mob don't like you, so they hang you. But on YouTube, they don't like you, they flag you. YouTube was becoming really dangerous to the ruling class because it allowed a diverse amount of opinions. Any individual with a camcorder could, you know, put up his vlog or whatever and be heard, and a lot of non-mainstream, non-controlled opinions were getting out. And this really scared the shit out of the ruling class. You never watch TV, you ever notice how they always demonize YouTube because all the dangerous thoughts and dangerous videos that are on there, and like, who exactly are they dangerous to? They're not dangerous to me. Are they dangerous to you? You know, they're dangerous to Wall Street, and they're dangerous to the people who control the, the United States, New World Order, whatever you call, democracy, international capitalism, whatever the hell you call this beast. Whoever controls the means of communication controls the masses. Whoever controls the masses controls democracy. Notice with these rich robber barons, whether it's Google on the internet or the railroads in the American West and stuff, it's not enough that these people get rich and stuff, but once they get rich, they go and they steal land, like in the American West, they'd steal the farmers' land and stuff, and it wasn't enough for them to get all this money from the land. They stole the farmland, or when they went in, like in the oil fields and stuff, they'd blackmail the oil fields to give them oil land to have the right to have the railroad come through there and pick up their oil and stuff. It wasn't so much that they made profit, but once they got rich, then they had to control the communities. They got to tell the communities what they could do, and who would be into office, and the rich would always back candidates with donations and stuff. That's why capitalism always promotes democracy, because under a democracy, the rich have all the power. Under democracy, the rich control the means of communication. They go out of their way to centralize it constantly. They buy up newspapers. In the American West, anybody with a few $100 could start a newspaper. The newspapers are all except back east are a few big ones. Most of them in the United States are really tiny, one-horse town newspapers. So there was numerous newspapers, diverse opinions and stuff. But the more rich the capitalists got, the more they bought up, and the more they centralized the views, and they limited the views, and they banned the views, and they marginalized any views they disagreed with, and they demoted, kind of like exactly what they're doing on YouTube, they demoted any views that they thought were incorrect. Exactly what they're doing on YouTube. So this is nothing new what Google's doing. This is, from the beginning of the country, beginning of history, the rich have always tried to control the means of communication and stuff. One of the biggest myths or biggest lies in human history is that under democracy, the people control the government. And this is just a load of crap, because the truth is, under a democracy, whoever controls the means of communication controls the people. So whatever the people decide, it doesn't really matter, because they're from kindergarten, even sooner, even watching TV when they're 2 or 3 years old, they're constantly bombarded with propaganda. They're told what to think, they're told what their boundaries are, they're pigeonholed, and the reality will be defined by them. And by the time they get voting age, about 99% of the thoughts come from the ruling class. Most people are too busy to think. That's the nice thing you can say about them. They're, too busy with their jobs and stuff to really contemplate what's going on in the world, to study what's going on in the world, to find out if any of the stuff that they hear on the evening news is true or not. The United States of America is controlled by a one-party dictatorship with two wings. You got the Democratic wing and the Republican wing, the left wing and the right wing. But you never think of, wings don't just sit there by themselves. They're connected to something. They're connected to a beast. And whatever the brain of those two wings are, the wings are connected to the body, whatever the brains they are, which is usually Wall Street, is who controls it, because the brains control the wings, because the wings do not have a brain of themselves. And that's basically how democracy works. The brain, Wall Street, controls the left and the right wing. This is why they always teach you that in America we see both sides of the story. There's two sides of every story, and in America you have both opinions. How ridiculous of an idea, a nation of 250 million people, and there's only two opinions. There's the left wing and the right wing of the beast. How stupid can people be that in a 250 million people that not one of them could come up with an alternative to the left wing and the right wing? The brain behind the beast centralizes its power by controlling the right and the left wing, and allowing people to only have two opinions, to have 2 points of view. Or you can be in the center. You can be a compromise between the left and the right. Oh, wow. So what's at the third position? That you can be right in the center of the beast, or you can be the left wing of the beast, or the right wing of the beast, as long as the beast is in power and is the brains of everything. So that's basically what's behind YouTube's censorship.